Ask the Climate Question was a campaign organised in this area by the Worldwide Fund for Nature. I think it was over the whole country. It was organised by Stop Climate Chaos. I'm a bit confused on that one. I think it was. Anyway, so the idea was to target marginal seats across the country, and South Swindon was in the top 50, I think, of those marginal seats. So that was one that we picked. And they held a couple of pre-meetings with interested parties, so that included SCAN, Churches Together, Wiltshire Wildlife Trust, there was Christian Aid and Oxfam there as well, and that culminated in SCAN organising a specialist climate change hustings event. So the next task after that was basically to advertise the event, get as many people to come as possible, and just generally advertise the campaign and try and get the idea was to get people, just ordinary people, to ask the climate question, particularly on the doorstep as canvassers came round. I didn't get the chance because nobody ever finds my house. But anyway, and I'm not in Swindon anyway.
Nobody finds my house, and I live in a terrace in the middle of Swindon, so they weren't looking too hard.
I guess there's quite a lot of houses to cover. I don't know. It was quite interesting because, from my point of view, I turned up at the first two meetings and I was very enthusiastic. And then, well, we had big reorganisations at the Wiltshire Wildlife Trust, and loads of other people had reorganisations, and it was just a really bad time of year for an election, really, wasn't it? So then, as it was getting closer, these emails were coming around and asking for help, and I kept feeling guilty. And then they offered a bit of cash. So we managed, as Wildlife Trust, we managed to help through a contract to help out with the campaign. So that involved just using all of our networks, like Wiltshire World Changers, our own Wiltshire Wildlife Networks, with our volunteers, and our Swindon Compost Ambassadors, all of that, to just try and widen the message. Because SCAN and Churches Together had already done quite a good job on that through their own networks. You know, you've got 350 members, which is really quite powerful. And then, of course, there's a pyramid effect from that. There was who organised the election bus? Was that part of the campaign?
Yeah.
That was a BBC, wasn't it? So, and Edward was a starring role on that one.
Well, I noticed that they chose their location on Shore Ridge. Now, Shore Ridge is lively at night, but there's nobody there during the day. So I thought, well, I'll go along and see if they're lonely, and they were.
That was brilliant, yeah. And it was getting all those little videos up on websites, which was quite useful. What else have I got down? Yeah, I got quite a lot of adverts out on like the Swindon Advertiser page and things like that. SCAN had it all advertised on their website brilliantly. And then we got Wiltshire Wildlife Trust. We got our Future Jobs Funds team. We've got a theatre team, and they'd only just started. It was fantastic, and this was their first commission, and they really were up against it. Actually, if you can do a performance and get really into character in the middle of the parade in Swindon at lunchtime, you can perform anywhere. There's actually this girl, because they prepared a special little piece for this election campaign, or for this Ask the Climate campaign, and it involved two of them being politicians arguing about very important issues of the day, like tax and crime and all of this sort of stuff. And then there was this little green girl who kept leaping up and down, getting hysterical, saying, but yes, they're all really important.
Like the bit is
Those things are all really important, but we still need a planet, you know.
and expenses.
Yes, that was in there. Anyway, they enjoyed themselves. Apart from this poor girl, she got heckled, you know, in mid-performance, in full character, and this old lady, it's always the same, isn't it? Came up and started up. I don't know what she was asking her, and it was like somebody had leapt up on the stage, you know. So anyway, so that got in the newspaper, which was more than our letter. We wrote a joint letter about the campaign, and it didn't get published because the Swindon Advertiser wouldn't publish anything that was remotely political, even though it was a completely neutral letter. You know, that's how it goes. So anyway, so it was a good publicity from the theatre group, and the result was it was a very successful hustings event. 40 people attended, because I counted them, grilled them at the door, and I thought it was a really well organised event. And the first question in particular I thought was very useful. I know somebody got frustrated, and it was getting a bit frustrating because the poor old UKIP guy just didn't get it. But I think it was really hopeful because by the end of it, with your brilliant graph,
So I used the previous UKIP guy at an earlier meeting that day.
but he was really backing down. He was listening, and if you can convert one, you see, I think with this issue you have to convert one person at a time. So I think that kind of bodes well for dealing with some of the new MPs. Not in the Swindon guys seem on board, but maybe in other parts of the country. So.